So this is something you hear a lot in the self-improvement circles: failures, feedback, fail fast, fail aggressively, learn from it. That is not the right approach. And if you don't believe me, ask a guy in his mid-40s who's going through divorce. I've dealt with a number of clients going through that situation or who were recently divorced, and that's not a good situation to be in. Or a guy who just spent his life savings on a business that didn't work out, and he bought 2 Subway franchises and the location was wrong, and he's done and he's got to go back and get a job. Failure is feedback only in the sense of you can learn from your mistakes, but it is not a license to make mistakes. And you could go through the next decade making very little to no mistakes on your goals if you do things correctly. And what I mean by that is when you have the right models and the right strategy and the right people to learn from, you don't have to make mistakes because they've already made the mistakes and they've put the course or the video or the mentorship together to tell you in advance not to make those mistakes and to tell you exactly what mistakes you are making before you make them. And this is something I made a major mistake of in my 20s, was not investing nearly enough in courses and mentorships. I mean, I was always reading, but there just wasn't the amount at all of what's available today. Today, if you're starting, let's say you have a 6-figure legal practice, right? There are courses that will describe to you every facet of scaling that business, as well as comes with a mastermind group of other lawyers and people that are in your position or used to be in your position, now they're doing 7 figures, as well as usually the owners of those mastermind groups and courses have gone from 6 to 8 figures in that field. And even as recently as 5 or 6 years ago, you could be in a mastermind with a course for, let's just say, a general service business, but there wasn't a whole lot available for if you were a lawyer. And you might have been able to find a marketer who specializes in lawyers, but now you most certainly can. So I work with a very successful marketer who's worked for Grant Cardone, Kevin Hutto. His name is Edwin Torres. If you need marketing, look him up. And he works with marketers that he does marketing for other marketers. He's that good. And he does marketing for guys who work specifically with lawyers. So if you're a lawyer, you have someone who can do your Facebook ads, Google ads, help you get Google reviews, which is the big thing, and do all that for you for a fee. And they've done it for hundreds of other lawyers prior to you. And then you can get in a mastermind group and a coaching course that's going to teach you, how to evolve past your S Corp and into a multi-member LLC, for example. You can learn, you can get a course to learn how to set up an offshore structure to own your subsidiary and get your corporate taxes down from 20 to 15%. You can hire somebody working through the latest AI apps to do your bookkeeping and your invoicing. I have a lawyer client as well, which is why I'm using this example. We just got him onto a software that's going to automate most of the invoicing for what he's doing. And that software, called Clio, is designed specifically for lawyers because lawyers have specific billing arrangements and ways that they have to file out the billing. It's actually quite important because they're charging a lot of money, and to show that all the money went into this specific type of work. You can join the group and it's going to tell you what kind of margins you should be getting, right? You should be getting 66% back on every lawyer that you hire. So if you're paying a guy 300 grand, you should be making 200 grand off him. The margins are great. You can learn you can do coaching with someone like me who can tell you these things, as well as tell you, dial in on the type of avatar you're going for. Are you going for, environmental or business litigation? Okay, business litigation, who are you targeting? All right, you're going to be targeting wealthy, conservative entrepreneurs in their 40s to mid 50s who are like very litigious. who are going to be happy to pay 20K a month because they're always in some type of contract dispute. These are the types of guys that are going to fight a $100 parking ticket, right? They're warriors, they're on the offense, they always want to fight, and they're happy to have a solid masculine lawyer in their corner that's going to tell them the truth and then like attack their interests and celebrate those victories and, you know, be on them like a pit bull, right? You know, a Trump type of character is the guy for, you know, dialing on the avatar, right? So I've done some coaching on that. So you can have the life and business coach like me. You can have stuff for the specific technical aspects of scaling your lawyer practice that it might involve how to make cases copy and paste using AI or ChatGPT. You know, what to look for in hiring a specific lawyer, where to find said lawyer, the obstacles you're going to have at scaling. You know, do you need an office or can you go remote? I mean, everything's mapped out. So this whole failure and failure is feedback thing, to me, failure is something you should have to deal with the most reluctantly possible, right? Like, it's the absolute, failing on any of your big goals should be the absolute worst case scenario. And I'm not saying don't be aggressive and get in there and do it. I am saying get in there aggressively and do it and take imperfect actions on the actual projects that you're doing within that goal. But the actual goal should be very well thought out. And if you are going to fail on something, I'm currently in about 4 businesses right now, it should be something that you can tell is a failure within a month or so. And it's a limited amount of time and money invested in that. And you're thinking it's going to sell relatively well, and then maybe it sells okay. In the second month, you're like, tweak this, tweak this, tweak this. But at the end of the day, it's not a big loss, as opposed to I'm going to do a tech startup and put $3 million into it, and it's going to be a year of development before I'm even ready to send it to a customer. That is not a fit, right? So you don't want to keep failing and justifying it as learning experiences. I've seen this with a lot of people, and it's sort of like, well, that was meant to happen. The universe wanted it that way. It wouldn't have happened, you know, if the universe didn't want it. I don't look at it as a failure. I look at it as a learning experience. Fuck all that, okay? Tell that to the guy who just lost half his net worth and got divorced and has 2 kids that he's, you know, trying to raise as a single dad half the time and paying $5K a month in alimony, right? Or the guy who spent 5 years trying to get a business off the ground, you know, beyond a certain revenue, and it just wasn't a viable business in the first place, okay? Failure at business is when you've invested a lot of money and time and is brutal, okay? It's different if you've just taken, you know, you're doing a drop shipping store as one of your 4th streams of income, and you've hired an operator to do it, and you give it 2 months and you put 10 grand behind it or whatever, you know, as an income stream that you'd hope would get you 40 grand.